Live. All right. What's up, crew? We've got the Thundrbro Leg Day coming up today. Gonna get some training on. Here I got my setup. It's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna get my Instagram live going too, so we string this a couple different ways. Wait for a few people to just file in here. Today's gonna be nasty. Got some killer workouts we're gonna be doing. All this stuff is out of Dumbbell Anarchy. So basically what we're doing is taking our Muscle Anarchy program, which is advanced bodybuilding concepts combined with functional movement and some more general fitness stuff, and adapting it to dumbbells only, which is 3 dumbbells and a set of 3 bands. You've got 30 different dumbbell pairs of weights or combinations you could possibly have. We're adapting the program that way and coming up with some creative ways to kind of substitute this stuff at home. Still pretty killer. I mean, I'm like smashed every workout, so it's going to be good. I know we got a couple folks coming in here. Filing in for the 10 a.m. class. And also going to go live on this one too. So let's see here. You have the old gram gone wild. Instagram's gone wild. Living in Florida right now for the time being. And let's see how this rolls. That should work. And maybe put it next to you over here. A little more perspective. Good. So last couple minutes, got about 5 minutes before people start rolling in here. I know everyone's getting ready to get their pump on. I love training with people. And let's see what we can get going on here. Boom. Phones are freezing. All right, so at 10 a.m. we're going to start our Thundrbro Dumbbell Anarchy Leg Day. What you need is just a set of dumbbells and some bands. Even if you don't have that, I'm going to talk about all different types of substitutes. Today we've got that work. So I'm going to do some exercises here, kind of show you some of the stuff this way. Make sure you get a good enough view. There's Camille. Hey, what's up? She's doing a workout too today in the backyard. Yeah.
You get the garage, I get the backyard.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we're going live now.
That's because I'm a junkyard dog.
She's a junkyard dog.
I'm a junkyard dog.
Junkyard dog. All right, so getting some people filing in. I know you guys, if you are waiting to start at 10 a.m., just kind of get yourself situated. Give yourself a little space. Make sure that you've got enough room to operate. We're going to be doing some lunges. We're going to be doing some hip bridges and some squat variations today. So you want to have like a little, I don't know, maybe like a 7x7 area would be pretty ideal. And today is leg day. So we're doing the Thundrbro Dumbbell Anarchy Leg Day today with just a couple dumbbells and a few sets of bands. Here's a cool question. We'll let you guys do the math on this. If you have 3 sets of dumbbells and you have 3 different tensions of bands, how many potential dumbbell pairs of variable weights do you have? Meaning, if you have obviously the straight weight of the dumbbells, those are 3 different weights, but then you have your light band tension, so that would be 4, 5, 6 different weights, medium, 7, 8, 9, heavy, 10, 11, 12. Oh, but now you got combinations, right? So I'm going to put that one out as a brain teaser for you guys. We might give away a pair of bands, whoever gets that one right. It's a little Goodwill hunting. My boy's wicked smart. All right, so I'm going to set you guys up right here. Hopefully we don't lose too much connection. First thing we're going to do is just kind of go through a nice warm-up to get you guys heated up a little bit. We are at 9:58, so 2 minutes. But what I like to do is I have a towel. I don't even have a gym mat here for my warm-ups. That's totally fine. I'm going to take you through a hip preparatory movement, some stuff for the lower back to get your lower back nice and loose. We'll do some squatting variations to get you ready. And then today we're going to begin with some just monster sets of banded sissy squats with weight. And the banded sissy squat, it's kind of a substitute for the hack squat. So if you guys seen the hack squat machine or the slide, you can do this on a Smith machine, or sometimes they actually have an actual hack squat machine. It's a movement that allows you to put a tremendous amount of force on the quads or the front of the leg, great for muscular development of the quad sweep, just the leg width. So a lot of utility there. I'm going to show you how to emulate it with a band. And even if you don't have a band, I'll show you some different ways to kind of emulate it. Our giant sets are going to be nasty. So we're going to work different foot positions. We're going to go wide sumo, regular. We're going to go super duper narrow. And each one of these sets, although the weight is comparatively probably pretty damn light, you know, compared to like your 1 rep max back squat, it's going to be extremely challenging with the band, the way I'm going to show it to you, and also using a dumbbell to do it. So if you guys are at home, pay attention to this. Even if you're not following Thundrbro Dumbbell Anarchy, this is a great movement to train the hell out of your legs with very, very limited weight. It's also where a lot of squatters are sometimes not as developed, because a good squat obviously uses the back side of the body really well, like the hip, the hamstring, the glute. So, you know, some really squatters usually have really nice hamstrings and really good glute activation. But sometimes, you know, people just want bigger quads or to shape the leg a little differently and also to work the leg differently, just in terms of, you know, being able to develop the quad with some special movements. So let's start going through our warm up today. I'm going to take you through some hip prep first. So I'm going to take my towel. I am going to fold it a couple different ways. This is just going to go right under my knee. You guys can see I am geared up today. I'm just going to tilt the camera down a little bit so you guys can see. There we go. So, got my knee sleeves on. We're going to do some 3 position lunges first. The dogs are barking. So, what I want you to do, a little bit for the hip and the hip flexor too, is you are going to get your back knee as far behind your hip as you can. And then you're going to push your hip forward. And you'll really feel this in the front of the leg. Get about 10 reps just pushing the hip forward. Good one for anybody suffering from like lower back pain. This is a nice way to give yourself some slack in the hip flexor. I know this is one of my go-tos, especially sitting a lot. You know, I spend so much time writing on the computer that my back will start to get just overall just achy, and that's almost a precursor to some kind of injury for me sometimes, where I know where I'm on the cusp of an injury when I'm like standing and feeling like my back is just super achy. So you want to try to give yourself some room. And another part of that is actually getting your discs centered right in the disc canals of the spine to make sure you don't end up with any issues. Now I'm going to bring my arms overhead, and I want you to tilt to the side a little bit as you do this. You push forward. You're going to open up and get really deep in the hip flexor. You get about 10 reps here. 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, feels good. 8, 9, 10. Oh, man, quads are freaking tight. So opposite hand here is going to go on the ground. Inside hand is going to go on top of the foot. And what I want you to do is grab the top of your foot, and you're going to post up and straighten out that back leg. And now you're just going to do little circles around that front hip. And I like to go 10 to the right. Just relax your hip. Try to keep your back straight too. 10 to the left, or counterclockwise. Oh, yeah. Maybe in another life I could have been like a yogi. Probably not. Not in this body. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to rotate it up to the sky as I press down to this hand. So I'm going to bring the arm up, rotate, and come all the way back down. 2, 10 of these. 3. Sometimes I get a nice release in the back when I do this too. 4. 6, 7, 8. A little bit more range of motion each rep. 9, 10. Back to the foot. Just run around a little. You can throw a little forearm to instep, get nice and low in the hamstring, right back. Okay, so from here, I want you to sit your hips back. Just kind of reset them in those joints a little. And now you're going to go with the opposite leg forward. And we rinse and repeat. So again, 1, 2, just nice and easy. Even as you're doing these, try to keep your belly tight too. You know, I don't want you to overextend, but you want to force the movement from the hip, not from the spine. Oh, here comes the landscapers next door. Good. Okay, so now opposite arm's going to come up. You're just going to tilt to the side as you come through. 1, 2. You can feel this almost into the belly. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Good. Like I said, this is really good maintenance for not just your hips, but also your lower back. Opposite arm's going to go on the floor. Front hand's going to go on top of the foot. You're going to post up on the back leg, so nice and straight, and you're going to go circles 10 clockwise. As you're doing this, if you watch my foot, I'm trying to keep my foot flat, so I'm not just letting my foot roll or I'm trying to limit that, but I'm trying to force the movement from the hip. Opposite way. Ooh. I got some friends who are yogis, they'd be like, look at Dave, he's stretching. I'm so proud of him for stretching. Good, nice and deep. Now we're gonna rotate, press that opposite arm down into the ground as you come through. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. I feel like this side is a little tighter. 9, 10. Good. Okay. A couple more circles. Throw a forearm instep. Knees back. Child's pose here. Nice and deep. Good. So that is some good hip prep. Well, breaking out the lawnmowers. Typical. Okay. So now we're going to go to some stuff for the lower back. I'm going to show you just a bunch of different combinations that you can use for lower back health. First off, we'll do some stuff just lying on the back to get you prepped up. This, again, is going to be more for, I'll get you a good view here, 3/4 angle, show you some stuff. More for the hip and hamstring, but just to make sure that when you are moving from the hip, you're not forcing movement from the back. Just like you teach in a squat to stabilize the spine and move through the hip and the knee, it's the same kind of thing. We're just building the range of motion to be able to do that. So I'm going to come down, and these are simple. I'm going to see your knee hugs. I'm going to come up, grab my knee, come down. There's 5 of these, so I grab, and I just give a little extra pull each rep. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can hold on the 10th one, and this is where you can almost wiggle it around a little bit and feel that hip capsule, give a little extra pull. Now, keeping the foot here, you're going to bring the opposite leg up into what we call a figure 4 position. You can take this hand and press against the knee and open up the hip. I just got to pop there and get 10 reps. So you're just opening up the hip. 7, 9, 10. Watch this pretzel move. Now I'm going to take my hand, this one. I'm going to grab my hamstring behind it, and my foot's obviously off the ground. And I'm going to pull towards my chest. Again, trying to keep my back straight. And I feel this right in the butt. Now, keeping the foot back down on the ground, you're going to take the outside of the knee, and now you're going to go across the body. Cool, that's one leg. Do the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is just a good routine regardless of what you're doing. You know, just for good range of motion. I know I carry a lot of emotion in my hips. Should have freed up. Last one. Good. Nice and deep, a little big. We'll get the calves a little. Big figure four. This is what goes out and pressing out the knee. My hand is literally just pressing down on that knee. Get it down behind the leg. Now, try to keep your back straight. Don't let the movement come from your back. Now, across the body of the leg. And here's a good one. The next one we're going to do is going to really open up the lower back. So it's going to be some crossovers. You're going to come feet on the ground. And what I want you to do is just go opposite leg to opposite arm. Oh, I'm going to move over here. This one, I always get releases in the back when I do this one. Oh, yeah. Good. That was awesome. All right. So now we're going to go to what we call a pigeon stretch, which is a really deep stretch for the piriformis. That's another really important one. So you're going to go foot on the ground in actually that figure four position. You can actually start and set it here. Your foot can be a little bit behind or beneath your knee. It doesn't have to be above, but the goal here is instead of my leg being like this, how it's resting on the side, I want to get it straight back. So I'm going to actually keep this where it is here as best I can, and now try to post up on that back leg. Look, the knee might lift a little bit, that's fine. And I'm going to try to twist into it and come down just to get into the piriformis. I feel this in my glute, in my back. This is like nice and deep in here. Keep going, so definitely get more if I can do this. If you twist a little bit, front shoulder forward, you get a little torque into your hip and then come down. And just switch legs. Same thing, coming back, set the knee where I want it to be, foot's a little bit beneath the knee, legs nice and flat on the ground. Then I'm gonna post up on the back leg. Oh boy, that one is ripe. I'm trying to get this from forward, down into it. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a little pop there, it's good. I like it when it pops, it feels always good relief. Okay, next one we're going to do is, I think, the most important one for your lower back, and it's called the Mackenzie Back Protocol. It's a series of extension-based exercises to really work on your lumbar curve. Great for just daily maintenance, so if you sit a lot, this is a great exercise. If you're acute and have acute back pain right now, this is a great exercise. You're going to come on the ground, you're going to lift your chest and then press with your arms, and then come back down. We'll get about 10, 20 reps right there just to pump some fluid into the spine. Here, it's not, the hip is not moving, but the spine is moving now, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. Just flat on the ground. I'm gonna lift, press. 2, nice and smooth. 3, my hips are just relaxed. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's try to do it 20. It's like a terrible push-up. Like a push-up gone wrong. 8, 9, 10. Now on the last one, just hold. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to relax. I'm going to breathe, and I want to see if I can get my hips. I'm going to also try to push my hips down towards the ground as I just relax into it. This is really working the end range extension. It helps center. You have a bulging disc, like most people have posterior bulges, discs pushing out towards the backside because they're flexed and sit a lot. It's a great way to counteract that. Just do it a couple times a day. Breathe out, bring your head down, bring it back up. Now you're actually starting to like floss out the spinal cord a little bit. Come on back, sit the hips back and the elbows. Oh, yes. Yay! All right, I think we're prepped. I think we're ready. So let me tilt the camera up a little bit, just so you guys can see. So first exercise we're going to do is going to be the banded sissy squat. It's a substitute for a hack squat. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my big thick Thunder band. This is the one that has 125 pounds of tension on it. Yeah. So So it's my thickest band. It's going to go at about knee height around a pole, something you can secure to that's not going to move. And it's going to go around the back of each one of my knees. And this is going to allow me to be counterbalanced, because when I squat, I'm going to try to keep my chest up so that the weight, the force is going on my quads when I do these, just like we talked about in a hack squat. It's a great way to emulate that. I think it's almost like a harder variation, because as you stand up, you have to press down against the band for extra quad activation. If you don't have a band like this, take some plates. I want you to elevate the plate about 2 inches, and what you're going to do is stand on it, and you're going to do a squat with your heels elevated, same deal, trying to keep your chest up, and we'll show you how to counterbalance this also with the goblet like we're going to do here, but I'll just show you the setup first. And this first set's going to be kind of like a warm-up for me. So my feet are going to go through the band. This is probably the hardest part of the exercise. It's like getting into the band. No, that's not true. All right. So feet are in the band right here. I'm coming back a few steps. I'm going to do squats in 3 different positions. So I'm going to get nice and wide with my toes out, and I'm going to perform 10 sumo squats. Then I'm going to bring them shoulder width, 10 regular stand squats, and then I'm going to come really narrow. So here's my first warm-up set, just getting them in, just squeezing every rep. 3, 4, and you see how I'm able to actually counterbalance myself because the band's behind my knee. 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to bring my feet in a little closer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my God, my quads are already burning. Okay, now we're going to come feet together inside the hips. This is the hardest one. This is the most quad. Take a breath, collect myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that is the first set. So, interesting takeaways here. I didn't even use weight on that set. I'll get you guys tilted over so you can see me a little better. Oh, I didn't even use any weight on that first set. Obviously, it's a warm-up set. But with those 3 stances, wide, regular, close, really working, getting an increasing mechanical disadvantage as you start to fatigue. So the last center hard, I even had to take a little break in between, kind of collect my breath a little. So we'll do about 90 seconds rest. Each set, you're going to build up a little more. You can do it adding weight with a goblet hold, like you'll see me doing that with the dumbbell. You can also do that with the kettlebell, or you can take 2 dumbbells and do a front squat. Or if you have, a bar, obviously, you could do this. And I would recommend if you do have a bar, instead of using the band, try this with the front squat with the heels elevated, almost like a mummy squat too. That's another good variation to force you to keep the chest up. Nasty stuff. All this stuff I picked up from the pros, like guys that compete in bodybuilding, physique, classic physique. This is how they develop the legs, they develop the quads. I know physique guys don't get graded on their legs, but the best ones in the world train their legs. And we talked about how training the legs has such important effect just on total body muscular development. And the legs are such a big muscle group in the body, and big advantages getting the hormones going from recruiting all that muscle. All right, so next one, I'm gonna grab a dumbbell. Let's see how we go here. So I'm lucky I got this rack here. Kind of situate this stuff on. Let's see if I can get it. Make sure it doesn't fall on me. Same deal next set. Still gonna go with 30, 10 wide, 10 regular, 10 narrow. Really hard, especially if you focus on the lockout with the movement. Really, really hard stuff. A lot of quad, a lot of burning going on with these legs. So building up here. Goes right in the back of me. That's actually why I'm using knee sleeves. It's because the band tends to irritate the back of the knee quite a bit. So grab my bell in the goblet squat. We'll start going through these now. So here we go. Actually, a nice counterbalance to get some good tension on the band. Nice and wide at the feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Regular stance. Deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Narrow. Ooh, this is the worst one. Oh, I'm glad they set them over so you guys can hear me. Pansy here. Okay, here we go. Come on. 1. We got balance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh gosh. Owies. Oh, hard. Okay. Good. Set 2. Wow. Really feeling that in the legs. So it changes the mechanics of it, right? The way you're working against gravity now, you can counterbalance against the band to put all the force on your quads, just like a hack squat machine. That was hard. So next set, you got it. We're bumping up a little. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna start to bring the reps down. So instead of 10s, we're gonna go to 7s, and we're gonna bump the weight up a little higher. Just get a little bit more loading. Even that was really fucking challenging. Whew. You guys are doing this at home. Hope you're enjoying it. Or really not great variation. And awesome if you don't have a hack squat machine. It's a great substitute. Or, you know, if you're always squatting the same way, it's a killer squat variation. You know, some really smart minds, whether it's strength training, performance, or aesthetics, will tell you variety is the key. Find where you're weak and live there. And all of a sudden now, if it's performance-based, the things you're challenged by have a way of elevating your strengths even. All right, so put this weight away, grab a heavier weight. Oh boy. So I'm just gonna situate this right here so I get easy access to it. I'll belt up a little on this next one. You know, I like the belt coming off of back injury, back surgery. It just gives me good awareness of the spine. If I'm getting out of position, I can feel it against the belt really well. It's kind of a mental cue. So, a little drink, and then we'll go for set number 3. We're gonna go 7s on this one. 7 wide sumo, 7 regular shoulder, 7 right up against each other. As the sissy squat variation. Banded sissy squats, giant sets. These giant sets, like if it was just the same stance, it would be much easier. But every time we change the stance, we're actually getting a little bit more of a mechanical disadvantage. Bringing the feet in closer as we're getting more and more into the quad each change. So these are going right behind my knee. If you don't have knee sleeves, just make sure that the band is flat. If it folds, it'll really give you abrasions on the back of your leg. And grab my bell, bring it up to the goblet, nice and wide with the stance. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shoulder width. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right up against each other with the feet. Oh boy, I can feel it already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yay. Oh. Okay. Ow. That got harder. That definitely got harder. Whew. Man, a lot of quad, a lot of pump. So, first movement of our leg day. Going to spend some good volume here. You know, we don't do a ton of different exercises every session. Usually it's 3 or 4 exercises, but they do have a large variety. A lot of different planes of movement, different grips, different stances, different equipment. And what's cool is that even with a set of dumbbells, you can create a lot of variety for yourself in dumbbell anarchy. We're just adapting muscle anarchy to dumbbells only. So, set of dumbbells, 3 sets of dumbbells, light, medium, and heavy, 3 sets of bands, and you got, I'll put this out there to you guys, how many different combinations of the same pairs of weight do you have? So if you have 35s and 50s and 70s, that's obviously 3 different pairs. If you had 3 different tensions of bands, light, medium, and heavy, how many pairs of different resistance do you have with each pair being identical? Pop quiz, hot shot. All right, same deal. Gonna bump it up again. Gonna stick with the 7. Gonna bump the weight up. So if you're at home and you don't have more weight to go to, what I recommend you do is stay in that rep range that was challenging. So you might stay in the 10s if you don't have heavier dumbbells. You might keep 10, 10, and 10 wide, regular, and narrow. If you do, bump it up. We're not gonna go lower than 7. That's a good rep range here. But just some variance for you. If you guys are doing this at home with the mummy squats with the heels elevated or dumbbell front squats with the heels elevated, what you can do is the same thing. It's like find a rep range that's really challenging for those last few reps and just stay there for these sets. This is where you want to live. That's where the gains are. So changing it out, going to the big dogs now. Holy cow, we're getting there. Whew. Lawnmower people, we're mowing the lawn next door. All right, so next step, bump the weight up, same deal, 7, 7, and 7, wide, regular, narrow. Here we go. Really glad we did all that hip and lower back prep too. That stuff is really valuable on leg day. So, situated here. One leg goes through, right in the back of the knee. Other leg goes through, same deal. Trying to get to the point where the last couple sets my legs are actually shaking a little bit. That's a really good marker, more of a subjective marker that you're hitting the sweet spot. Okay, so let's pick this bell up. Goblet, here we go. Wide sumo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, regular. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Narrow together. Come on now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yay! Ow. That's hard. Okay. Good. That was a hard set. Holy crap. So I was, I guess you could call that really set 3. First one was a warm up. Second one, just lightweight, so it was pretty hard. So yeah, set 3. I try to get 2 more good sets in here of these sumo sissy squats in the goblet. Different stances. Oh man, the narrow stance is really fucking hard. So I love the knee sleeves. Really save the back and the knee against the band. So they're valuable. Man, these landscapers love to landscape when I'm trying to lead a workout, don't they? Oh, Cammy's coming. Hey, did you ask these guys to turn it up a little bit?
I know. They came right behind me.
Yeah.
And so I had to cut my thing short because I was like, this is.
Well, don't hit the Corvette. Cammy's bringing the bench in for our next series. But, okay, so set 4, same deal.
Yeah, way to help your pregnant wife here.
I know. What a guy. Okay, so same deal, 7, 7, and 7. You can bump up the weight if you want. You're gonna hit these last 2 sets nice and hard. See how we're doing? We're doing awesome on time. So again, same deal. Get yourself situated with the band. Move this back just a hair. My legs are feeling a little wobbly at this point. So this is good. It means we're getting there. So back of the knee. Right there. Oh man. But it rains, of course, doesn't it? Tomorrow's gonna be chest day. That's what I'm thinking about. Like, this kind of sucks, but tomorrow's chest day. Okay, so here we go, quads. Take a breath. And bring this guy up in the goblet. Make sure that band is even tension too. And back down. Here we go. Goblet. Wait. 5 sumo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Narrow, regular stance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, here we go. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh. Ow. I have to down on this one, but I got a bench. Oh, these guys are the worst. All right. That's it, got hard. I didn't bump up and weight too much. Stuck with the heavy bell. But 7, 7, and 7 was hard. One last set, kind of cap it off. 5 sets is a good amount for something compound like that. I would call this the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes of today's workout with these giant sets. Let me see if I close this garage door. Maybe it won't be so fucking loud. Okay, so last set. Let me shot close this guy. know if that's too dark. Oh, not bad. That is pretty dark. Got that. Okay. All right. I'm trying. All right, last set. Last set. Seven wide, 7 regular, 7 narrow. Last set of sissy squats. Like I mentioned, if you guys are doing this without the band, you can just do it with your heels elevated, but elevate them a lot. Almost like you're squatting on your toes. Get nice and even. Oh, just standing here, I'm feeling it. All right, here we go, last set. Let's get it, Lipson. Send it home, baby. Okay. Up we go. Wide sumo. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Regular. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Narrow feet together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, God. Oh, now they stop. Okay, good. Hell yeah. Nice work. Oh, breathe. Breathe a little bit here. Okay, so that's done, thank God. That was hard. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna transition to some different movements. I'm gonna show you a nasty, what we call tricep. So 3 different exercises. And in the tricep, it's all gonna be hamstring, glute, and hip extension based. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 15 RDLs. We're gonna do 20 glute bridges, and then we're gonna do 10 step ups. That's one set. We'll go 3 rounds through. So I'll show you each one of these. You've got the ability to kind of change this out however you need, but let me just breathe a little. For the RDL, I recommend use a good set of dumbbells, something decently heavy, and you're gonna perform 15 where you're gonna begin just by setting your spine. So take a big breath, shoulders back, nice and tall, set the spine where it needs to be. Unlock your knees, and you're gonna hinge at the hip. This is the RDL right here. Bam. You're only gonna go as low as you can while keeping your back nice and straight. So if you start going down so low that your back starts to round, that's too low. You just wanna keep the back straight, very similar like a rack pull almost. So you're gonna hinge and then extend. Glute, hamstring there. Second movement, the hip bridge. You can do this on the ground. I'm gonna use a bench. And for the bench, my upper back is gonna go on the bench. I'm gonna put a dumbbell across my hips right here, and I'm gonna perform a glute bridge, just like this, okay? That's the glute bridge. Now you can do the same thing, just lying on the ground. We're just gonna pike your hips up. So I'll show you on the ground what that would look like. You'll be right here on the floor. You can still put a bell or something across your hip, and your glute bridge will be right there. This is actually a hip bridge, but that'll be the second exercise. The third exercise, which is probably the worst, is going to be the step up. So just 10 each leg. You're going to come up, step up, come back down, 10 each leg. So it's going to be a triplet just like that. You can kind of set yourself up right now, get yourself situated with the bells and the bench. If you don't want to use a bench, or if you don't have a bench, you can take the step up and you can do a lunge. What I recommend for the lunge is you do a reverse lunge, because you're going to do all 10 on one leg and then all 10 on the other. So the substitute would look like this, where if this was my lead leg, I'm going to drop the left foot back, right? And that'll be my substitute for the step up, which is actually a great variation. The reverse lunge is an awesome movement. Okay, so let me get myself set up. I'm going to tilt the camera a hair here so you guys can see what I got going on. Probably tilt that down a smidge. Oh, lost you. There we go. And now we're going to go into this tricep. Make sure you guys can all see. Yep. RDL. Yep. Okay, cool. So here we go. Whew. Getting it. Oh yeah, we're getting it. Okay. So first things first, we're gonna go through all three, then we're gonna rest for 90. So it's gonna be a good amount of work, and then we'll get a chance to kind of take a breath, take a breather. 3 sets through. You should be huffing and puffing at the end of each set. So let's go to the RDL first. Okay, so I'll show you guys. RDL 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Let's use just one bell. This one's gonna go across my hip. I'm gonna go into 20. Sometimes I'll feel this movement too to see how many reps I think I got in me. Should feel it to the point. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, gosh. There. Oh boy. There we go. Okay, right. We're going to step up now. 10 and 10. Whew, come on, get it together, Dave. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Full breath. This one's definitely the hardest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, shit. Good. One set done. Breathe. 90 seconds. Yeah. Okay, so that was set number 1. Now we're going to do 3 of these. This is kind of a backside burner. I think our title for this complex is butt stuff finisher. There's a lot of butt stuff, but
The sissy squats we did were so quad dominant that it makes sense now in terms of variety to get a lot of backside movements in. Also, just the nature of this, we're now throwing in some single leg work, which is important too. You know, everything we kind of do is double leg. This is great for fixing asymmetries, neurological control, left to right side. A lot of utility for athletic performance. I mean, most sports are played running or on one leg, you know, or transitioning from one leg to the other. You think about boxing, baseball, rotational, one foot to the other, running, all that stuff is just kind of the side to side. So really good for kind of fixing those asymmetries. So we'll go again. It's going to be same deal. 15 RDLs. If you want to make the RDL spicier, feel free to throw a band around the dumbbells just for a little extra tension as you're moving through. Glute bridge, same deal, 20. Move nice and slow and concentrate on the finish of that movement, getting the full extension of the hip as you come through. And then the step ups, which they're just fucking nasty. Whew. All right, about 10 seconds. Get this belt back on. Oh, yeah. Papa likes it. Papa's working. Sweating his ass off in the garage. This is good. We get ripped for the next 30-day shred challenge. I'm going to do that one with our group. See who can get the leanerest. All right, so here we go. Nice and smooth, 15 RDLs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Okay. Single belt, glute bridge, hip bridge. Belt goes across the hip, upper back on the bench. Here we go. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Throw a little pause at the top of each rep. 1, 2. Good. Come down. Last one. Here we go. Step ups. Deep breaths. Come on, Lipson. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Other way. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Set 2. I'm getting excited. Start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That was good. Hard. Pretty breathy. Definitely high rep. You know, sometimes we'll get heavy. This stuff is about feeling the movement, getting good tension on the muscle. You can see as I do those RDLs and the hip bridges and the step ups, I'm really trying to feel the movement. I'm trying to feel the muscle work. That's something that took me a while to understand because I'm used to just trying to rip through reps, you know, like fast as you can, heavy as you can. But in terms of muscle growth, that mind-muscle connection is really important. Stretch out the back a little. Oh, I'm pretty happy. Back's doing okay. You know, I think it's because we did a good prep. And you guys, anybody out there who does have a dicey back, making that stuff part of your daily preparatory stuff, especially on things like lower body days or on back days where you know you're going to have hinge movements. That's really important. It's also good, you know, the hip prep is important because by mobilizing your hips, you're going to be better able to just stabilize your back because the movement can come from the hip, not from the spine. So that's a really important part as well, just stretching the hell out of your hips. One thing I want you to be aware of for the next set, I don't know if you guys can see it on the RDL facing the front, but this is a little trick I learned about the RDL and how to really keep the tension on the hamstring. When I'm doing these RDLs, yeah, I'm keeping my back straight and getting it stretched as I come down, but as I come up, I'm not going to stand all the way up. I'm going to keep here. As soon as I stand, the tension is off my hamstring, and I'm just using my joint alignment to support myself. But if you come just short of lockout, right here, the movement stays right in your hamstring. So, you know, a little different than CrossFit for a purpose, right? So, you know, we're not giving people no reps here, but the idea is creating the right training effect in the muscle. The training effect should be trying to push that hamstring, get a lot of stress on that hamstring. So these are little strategies you can incorporate for muscle growth, little tricks, I almost call them, that I've picked up from some of the world's best, the guys who are on the Olympia stage. And then, you know, you can take the concepts and apply them to performance, building up your physical body, your hardware, and then applying it to your sport where there's actually a lot of neurological application and basically using, not just learning to use what you have more efficiently, but increasing the body you have to use that you can then put that software through. Because you guys all are, you know, probably pretty athletic movers, especially if you've done CrossFit, you're used to these really athletic patterns, so you have the wiring, so to speak. Now it's actually building the hardware. Like I use an analogy like a computer. You know, the hardware is the size of the computer, its processing power. The software is how well you're able to utilize that, how efficiently you can utilize it. So we're building the hardware here. Okay, last set. I'll show you these from the side so you guys can see the RDL the way that I'm doing them. And then we get to do a victory dance and send this puppy home. So here we go. RDLs. Give you a side view on this just so you can kind of see what these look like. 1, 2, so just short of lockout. 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Hip bridge, glute bridge, whatever you want to call it. Upper back on the bench, nice and smooth on these. Concentrate on squeezing through the whole rep. 1, 18, 19, 20. Here we go. All right, last one, best one. Here we go, step ups. Get your head into it. Smooth hard reps. Here we go. Try to really feel that foot on the bench too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, breaths. Oh. Yay. Awesome. That's awesome. We crushed it. Okay, cool. I'll put this down here. I'm going to talk to you guys a little. Nice work. Oh, shit. They got hard. So, good. Well done. So, I'm just going to breathe a little. Belt off. Ooh, that's a good leg day. Not crazy, not too hard, but just enough. What we did was we got 5 really good hard sets of those sissy squats with the band tension, just really working, getting the legs super wobbly. Over those 5 sets, good volume in there, good volume of reps, good volume of sets. Then we ended with a tricep of an RDL hip bridge step up for the backside. So what I actually did on that was I combined, in our program, we actually had the RDL separate of those step ups and glute bridges. But for the time's sake, based on the way we were moving, I wanted to try to get it all in an hour. We just put them together and just made it all pretty kind of worse. So we got people that signed up for Dumbbell Anarchy after watching these sessions. No joke. I have not, these are not crazy heavy weights. And I am freaking gassed. I am sweating. I'm working hard. My veins are popping out. So the point with all this is there's still tremendous utility and hypertrophic effect in terms of muscle building that you can get even with light weights. 3 sets of dumbbells, light, medium, and heavy. That might be 35s, 50s, and 70s, and 3 sets of bands. And I'll give you guys the answer. If you have 3 sets of dumbbells and 3 sets of bands, those are 30 different pair combinations that you have, meaning 30 identical pairs of weight that you could potentially create. So I know you guys might do the math in your head. The one thing you got to remember is you still got to count the dumbbells without any weight, counts as a pair. So 3 times 3 is 27, 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, but then you have the extra 3 pairs of weight. So that was the answer. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Didn't have any questions here, but feel free to send them to us, DM us at Dave Freakin' Lipson, at Thundrbro, 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 and ask us our programs online at thundrbro.com. You can find all that stuff in the link in our bios too. This is an example of Dumbbell Anarchy, which is an adapted version of our killer muscle building program, Muscle Anarchy. We do the same stuff, but we use barbells and a little bit more equipment. But for right now, for everybody at home, not everybody has access to that. So we created this program specifically for athletes that want to build muscle and that don't have a lot of equipment. So thanks for tuning in. Good workout. Feel free. We're going to save this stuff. Our media guy, Nate's going to edit it down so you can kind of see the full workout if you want to come back to it. Thanks for tuning in. Dave Lipson out. Thank you, guys. End the stream.